Hey guys, what's happening? It's Dean from Electronisounds. Stick around. Today we've got a brand new effects app from Eventide Audio. It's a rotary speaker effect, and I'm going to show you how you can use it to thicken up your lead synth sounds and make them a little bit more creative inside of an app like AUv3. Stick around, guys.
Electronisounds Audio, the YouTube channel for you.
Okay guys, I figured a really good way to show you what this rotary effect sounds like would be to just load up Synthmaster 1, and I've initialized it to a brand new preset here. I've gone ahead and just turned the decay up and the sustain down, so we have a little bit more of a plucky type of a lead sound, okay? And this is just a standard saw wave, and it sounds like this. Okay, it's just the default, initialized preset in Synthmaster 1. There's no effect on it, right? If I take the rotary effect from Eventide and I put it on that dry, saw wave, we immediately get a rotating speaker sound effect on that, and it really just adds a little bit of movement to the sound without really having to do much in the way of sound design at all, but literally just dropping that on there. And since the effects in AUv3 run in serial, meaning just literally the output of the first effect is going to go into the input of the second effect, I've literally layered 3 of these rotary effects from Eventide up in a row. So if I add a second rotary effect, it's literally putting the rotary speaker on the entire rotary speaker effect of the first one. And if I put a third one on, it's affecting the entire rotary of both of those rotaries. Does that make sense? So like we're not just spinning the speaker once, but then we're spinning that through 2 other rotary speakers as well. So here's with 1. And here's with 2. Here we're getting a little bit of a thicker sound now. And if I put a third one on, this is very subtle now. We've got quite a thick sound where we really haven't done sound design at all. All we've done is drop 3 different rotary effects on here. Now if I take the Eventide black hole effect, the reverb effect, and I put that at the end of the chain, we have a pretty decent lead sound there, guys. And that's really, again, I can't stress this enough, without having to get into the synthesizer itself and do a whole bunch of sound design. Now let me show you what this sounds like in a musical context, guys. I've made like a dub techno, sort of a bass groove at 112 BPM here in the key of F minor, because that's the key that I'm most comfortable playing on the keyboard. And so I'm going to play this dub techno groove, and I'll just do a little bit of fiddling around and noodling over the top of that, so you can kind of get an idea of what this would sound like in a musical context. Check this out, you guys. Be sure and subscribe if you're into this kind of content, guys. On this channel, I talk about making music with iPads. I talk about sound design with iPads, sound design with hardware, making tracks, making live jams, all that good stuff. Be sure and subscribe, guys. Before we go today, guys, I just want to scroll through what the presets sound like on the rotary effect. We're going to go ahead and start with the dry signal. This is just the initialized patch from Synth Master 1. It's just a standard saw. And if we turn on the rotary effect here, which is the auto fast slow rotary 1 preset, you can hear how it's really putting that rotary speaker on the effect on the sound. There's quite a bit faster one there. This one is called the bass still rotary. Let's go down a couple of octaves and check out what this does to a preset. I mean initialized preset, that is. Just a standard saw here. Let me take that off. And turn that back on. You can really hear how it's moving those frequencies. Wah, 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 wah. Okay, this one's called Big Fat Cabinet. This is typically used on like an organ sound, most often, guys. But I figured that it'll be really easy to hear what the effect is doing using this saw wave example. This is the hyper rotor. You can hear how it's really spinning that speaker. This is the jazzy rotary effect preset. I really like this one. This is the old time radio preset. It's got a really high pass filtered kind of a sound. You could definitely get some interesting effects with that one, especially if you were to like sample out this one and then play it back with some a sound that had some low end in it as well. This one's called Slowly Rotate. It's almost like a really slow flange. This one's called Spaceship Rotary. Now, if it does this stuff to just a plain saw wave, imagine what you could do with this on some presets that had some actual movement in them. This one's called Treble Spin. Again, that would be a great one to sample out and maybe put over some hip-hop, boom-bap, drum beats or whatnot, some chords, I mean. This one's called Whirling Dervish. Definitely an interesting sort of a stereo effect, sort of a chorusing effect, sort of a rotary speaker effect in this one, guys. I definitely, recommend this as part of your sound design arsenal if you're doing a lot of music production on the iPad.